Hariam everyone, welcome to this class on Kathopnishad. We have done three classes so far. So we are now entering into the fourth class. And so we'll continue with the text where we left off. Let's start with the chanting and then we'll get back to the text. You can chant at your end, just the Shanti part and the other mantras. ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं कर्वावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषवहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ गणानां त्वा गणपतिगं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आन शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् ॐ श्रीमहागणपतये नमः सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः. So we are starting this class on Kathopnishad, which is one of the most well-known and very popular Upanishads, mainly because it's the story of a very young boy, Nachiketas, who is living with his father. His father has taken him to see the big yagya, the havan that he's doing. The Vajshrava is the name of his father, and they are together. They did this yagya where which is called the Vishwajit yagya, where he has to give away all his possessions. It is, in a sense, the indication of giving away all your earnings for the year for after you have consumed whatever is left, but some say you have to give away all your possessions. So in that sense, he was able to give away some of his possessions, but the young Nachiketas, the young boy, he was watching his father and he saw him giving away some cows which were not of very good health. They were very old, unable to give milk, unable to give birth to new calves. So he was very disturbed and he somehow managed to put the point across to his father that this was not right by saying that I am watching you give away these cows also. So I am also your possession. So whom will you give me? And his father was very disturbed and he, in a sort of moment of anger, we can say, sometimes we say some things that we regret, हमें बुरा लगता है बाद में, but हम कह जाते हैं. So we should always watch
दादा
our
ट्रॅक्टर
words,
निवड
right?
कोण घेता दादा
So we should always be
हा
able to watch our words and see that they don't convey what we don't mean, because it happens a lot to us. So when this young Nachiketas was asking his father, his intention was only to let him know that the cows that he was giving away were not worth being given away, because the person who would take them would only feel them as a burden rather than as a gift, because he would have to look after these old cows. So then his father had already said, in a fit of anger, he told him, I give you away to Yamaraja, the Lord of Death. So now his son saw that his father had said something which he didn't mean, and his father was also willing to retract his words. He was saying, no, I said it in anger, you don't need to go. But his son said that this is our tradition, our people follow their word, they are men of their word. वो अपने कही हुई बात से पीछे नहीं हटते. They never go back upon their words. So in this way, he said, you have to allow me to go to Dharma Raja. So how it happened, that we cannot say. We understand from the storyline that that this young boy Nachiketas, some say 10 or 12. I say he should be around 13 or 14, but that is my opinion. So please you do not accept that, you can form your own opinions, because his age is actually not mentioned there. He is mentioned as a young boy. So young boy, mostly some people say 8 to 10, some people say 10 to 12, but some say 12 to 14. But when we look at the maturity of this young lad, he is really beyond his years. He is very, very wise. And so that we can see from what he incurs or what he experiences or how he responds to what happens to him when he reaches Mrityulok. So in the portion where he enters Mrityulok, he has reached the house of Yamaraja, and Yamaraja is not there at this moment. He was away on some errand. He was doing some work, and he was not available for 3 weeks or 3 days, sorry, 3 days. And this young boy, he was a very well-mannered child, a child of etiquette. So he did not enter the house where only his wife was living, where Yamaraja's wife was there. And so he stayed outside and without any food or water for 3 days. Now, when Yamaraja came back, he saw that this child has come, and he has been waiting outside without any food, and he was also scolded by Yamaraja was scolded by his wife. You look, because of you he's had to suffer, so you must do something to pacify him, because any person who has angered a brahmana will incur a lot of wrath. He will lose all his punyam, all his good will that he has earned through previous good deeds. So this occurrence, this happened, which led Yamaraja to say, okay, Moke Brahman, I am very, very sorry that I could not be there for you. So he gave him, as a feeling of mutual respect, as a feeling of love, he offered him 3 boons. He said, you can ask for any 3 boons, and whatever you ask, I will provide to you. So Nachiketas saw that in this the opportunity to do whatever best he could do since he had traveled here. So the first boon that he asked for, Pratham Varanam, the first one he asked for is to indicate that his father would accept him back, and he would not be angry at him. He would also allow him to allow the situation to be as it was previously. So this shows the maturity of this young kid, that by asking in this way one boon, he ensured 3 things. First is that he will be allowed to go back from the house of death, that is the Yamaraja's house. And then secondly, when he goes back, his father would be fine with everything. He would not be angry. And thirdly, life would continue as normal. They would prosper and do well. So all of these he asked in one boon. Then in the second moon, he asked for what is called the Tri Nachiketa Agni. So this Agni is what is the purpose of that? He is basically asking the procedure of doing a yagya, a havana, which procures for you all the kinds of material benefits. So in our tradition, we say for any kind of good thing that we have to do, we do a sankalpa. We make a wish, we make a decision, sankalpa. And with to do that work, if we have to first propitiate or gladden or make happy the divine forces, because every activity is guided by divine forces. So those divine forces, when they are favorable to us, our work then gets done faster. So that is why we do a homa, a havana. Havana is what is a surrender or an offering. So whenever we surrender to someone, we offer ourselves to that person or that entity, which is the devata. And that when we do that, the blessings of that person are received, and then that person also helps us in whatever we do. So when the devatas are aligned to us, our task becomes easier, becomes better done. And so in this way, we are able to complete whatever effort. So it's not that you make a sankalpa and thing will happen on their own. You have to work hard also, of course. Without hard work, nothing can be achieved. But before doing that hard work, you also have to make your intention pure. make your intention pure and not do anything that will hurt others. So in this way, when you are aligning to the natural forces or the devatas, that means you are keeping everyone around you also satisfied and happy, right? What are the divine forces? The divine forces are forces that run through all of us, right? So the seeing power, the Agni Devta, Surya Devta, the seeing power is Surya Devta. So that seeing power is seeing through the eyes of everyone. So when we are propitiating all the people, we are presenting them with a presentable or a pleasant sight, then they will be happy to, align with us and come with us. So in this way, the devtas come to our aid, right? So this is something that this gift is what he procured for his family and his village and his people. So it will come up later also. So by uh, getting this knowledge from Yamaraja, he is able to know something that will help. So the figure is given, figure of speech is given, that Yamaraja told him the secret of arranging all the bricks. So the bricks we saw earlier also, that represents how the Havan Kund or the process of Havan should be done. Today we will look a little bit more into a deeper aspect of that, right? So we'll look into that. And so this process, when it is taught to Nachiketas, he's sure that when he goes back, he will be able to help his people with the process. So I'll just share onto the 17th and 18th mantras which we discussed last in the last class. So we'll just get into that and we'll start with. So in the 17th mantra, what we saw was त्रीणेचित्येतस् त्रिभिरेत्य सन्धिं त्रिकर्म कृतर्ति जन्म मृत्यु ब्रह्मजज्ञं देवमीड्य विदित्वा निचाये मां शान्तिम् अत्यन्तमेति. So here he this Agni Vidya, this fire ritual that was taught by Yamaraja, he is giving the indication of the fruits. So this Trinichiketa Agni is going to be applied or is to be used during the performance of any homa. Huh? So this knowledge has been given to Nachiketa. And because Nachiketa has been all through such a wonderful student, Yamaraja has given the name of this Agni itself as Tri Nachiketa Agni. He has named it after Nachiketa. That is an extra boon for him. So a boon is something you ask for. Here, slight variance that he has given an extra gift, you can say, right? So it's not technically an extra boon. It is the Agni knowledge that he gave. Forever afterwards, it would be named after Nachiketa. So that fire ritual knowledge is that Agni, that fire that we use in the Homa, that is called Nachiketa Agni. And because it performs three kinds of activities, it helps us in three kinds of activities. So that is why it is named as Tri Nachiketa Agni. And it is connected to Tribhiretya Sandhim. It is connected to the three points of joining, right? So these 3 points of joining also we look at. And then Tri Karma Krit Taranti Janma Mrityu. Right. So in by doing the three kinds of action, the person is able to go cross over the birth and death. And then whoever does this action, this Brahma Yajna, this Yajna, where the superior highest power is appeased or pleased, Deva Medium Viditya, all the divine powers are appeased, then that person achieves eternal peace. So, what does this Tri Nachiketa Agni indicate? First of all, this uh, Tribhi Sandhi we look at. So, Sandhi represents a point of joining of two times or events, just like a Yuga represents a joining of 2 points of time, and it is called a Yuga. So, Yuga means to join, right? So, that joining point is called a Sandhi, right? So, like Yuga will be of variable length. So if there is the cosmic yuga, so cosmic yuga is what? It is the 1 day of Brahmaji. So 1 day of Brahmaji is how much? That is 1000 Chatur Yuga. So you make that calculation, it comes to around 4.6 billion years. So that represents the movement of cosmic entities, how they move. And so that is why whenever you do any homa or yajna, you do a sankalpa. So in that sankalpa, you use the name of the time also. You use the you tell that this is the time, right? So during that sankalpa, you would say, what is this time? You would say Dvitiya Paradhe, Shvetavaraha Kalpe, where Vasvat Manvantare, Ashtavinshati. If it then the date and time, and then Kali Yuge. So you will know that from there you can say, according to the cosmic time scale, this is Kali Yuga, and this is just the first a quarter of the Kali Yuga, and this is the starting is what Dvitiya Parade. So Brahmaji's age, his second half of his life has started. So 50 years is considered half, 100 is considered full age. So this is the 51st year of Brahmaji, right? So in this way, the cosmic time scales are calculated. So there, that is called the Sandhi. Similarly, for a human, what is the yuga? For the human, it is the what is the normal normal age of a human? 100 years. So for a human, it is 100 yuga. For any activity that you are doing, it may be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, then that 5 minutes is the yoga for that. Yeah, and then for when we calculate how old our generations were, what time our ancestors lived, what time Rama lived, then what time we will use? There we will use the timing of what we call Pitra. Pitars, our ancestors, our forefathers. So in the Shastra, what is given? The Pitar day span is 30 times of the human. So for humans, if it is 100 years, theirs is into 30. So 3000 years there is one yuga for the Pitars. So when you are talking about generation, so everywhere all the calculations they will make sense once you apply this logic, right? So it is very detailed and we can cover it another time. But basically, what we are looking at is that there are there are here said to be three sandhis that come in the life of a human, right? So all those three joining points are ones where you can become you can master those joining points by using this three Nachiketa Agni. So what are these? So different kinds, like in this translation it is given the three Rik, Sam, Yajur, the three Vedas. So actually the four Vedas, but the joining point of four. So how many joining points will be between Rik and Yaju? One. Yaju and Sam, two. Sam and Atharv, three. So those, that is the joining point. The joining, what is the mastering of the joining point? The mastering of the joining point is how to flow between the knowledge. So Rig Veda gives you the awakening of the powers, right? Yajur Veda gives you directing those powers to doing your actions in the world. The Sam Veda ensures the Vedic Sam Veda verses. They ensure that when you flow with the flow of nature, then your activities become in tune with everything with nature. So Sam Veda is all about music, right? And then finally Atharva Veda. Atharva Veda, where you finally use that knowledge of your maintaining yourself with the flow of nature to achieve the highest atharva. So you reach the highest, join with the Lord, go for moksha, go for the highest knowledge that is there. So in all this, when you master the Vedas, then that is also called using the Nachiketa Agni to master the three Vedas. Then also further, it is given in Shankaracharya commentary also that there are different kinds of the sandhis are the four stages of a man's life, right? So when what are the four? Brahmacharya, then after that you become grihastha, then you become vanaprastha, then you become sannyasi. So all those four stages, usually in those days it was 25 years each. To add that sandhi, so you should be able to master your flow into the next stage. So when you're a brahmachari, what is your duty? To study, to use that knowledge to do good things in the world. Then where you flow into grihastha, where you use that knowledge to create a family, maintain nature around you. And then finally, vanaprastha, where you slowly learn to give up those relationships and learn to subsist just purely with nature. And then finally, sannyas, when you give up all attachments. So those three sandhis are conquered by this three Nachiketa Agni, right? And then three karma krit tarati janma mrityu. You are able to do the three kinds of karmas. So three kinds of karmas: yajna, dana, and tapas. So when we do the three kinds of karmas, they complete the human range of activity. So yajna represents your activities relation to the world. Then dana, then when you are able to generate more than what you can consume, you are able to give dana. And then tapas, you are able to control yourself. Sanyam, because we do not believe in freely enjoying everything. We believe that controlling ourselves is more of a wealth than indulging ourselves. That is called hedonism in English, and that is the sense that we use for uh, our feeling in our natural course of life. हम जीवन में जो करें सब कुछ सिर्फ खाने पीने के लिए नहीं. We should be able to control ourselves. When we control ourselves, we can find we will survive in minimum amount. So this Brahma Yagyam Deva Media Vidita. Whoever does this Brahma Yagyam, he gets the blessings of the Devtas, right? When we consume something for ourselves and also give more of it to others, that is the way the universe is able to maintain that. And the Nichayamam Shanti Matyameti, then we get the true peace. Because what happens when is our peace disturbed? When people around us are not happy. They expect something from us, but they don't get. They desire some things, like it might be even something small as attention, it might be something small as a little bit of time, it might be something as small as uh, even food, it might be anything that they will expect. So we should always be ready to be able to give those things to people around us. When we can give those things, then only shanti, the worldly peace is there, right? The higher peace is different, that we will come to later on. So this worldly peace is available to us, right? And then one more thing that we have seen here, that here he has given the knowledge where it is said to be the knowledge of how the bricks are arranged in a yajna kunda. So what is the word used there for the bricks? That is isht, huh? Ishtika. So ishtika is also a brick, right? But that is the beauty of our Vedic language. We have what we call the root of a word. So we look at some words when we move through this also. So that is called the dhatu, right? So the dhatu meaning is always the same. But when wherever we apply, we can get different meanings. Like we saw in the case of go. So go primary meaning is light, right? Then when the sense organs used to illuminate the sense objects around us, then we call the sense organs also as go. And then we can also call the animal cow as go, because it has a white color, the color of light. So in this way, we have primary, the root meaning, and whenever it is applied to different objects, it can change the course, but the root meaning always remains the same. So just like we will look at the next word here in the coming verses, that is dharma. So dharma means what? Dhri comes from the dhri root. Dharyati iti dharma. So dharma is something that holds everything together. That holds everything together. Right? So that is the root meaning. So we can apply it to so many different things. We can apply it to religion. Why religion? Because it holds the people together. It ties them down with certain rules, regulations, rituals, through which the society becomes as one big cohesive unit. That is dharma, right? It holds us together. Then dharma, we can say the nature of an object, the properties of an object. Whatever the property of an object, they hold that object together. So sugar is sweet, right? So if you take the sugar out of that, to take the sweetness out of the sugar, will it remain sugar? It will not be called sugar, right? So you have taken the dharma out of that, so it will collapse. Even every atom in the universe, it is maintained by motion. There is a motion of the electrons around the nucleus. If the electron collapses into the nucleus, the whole thing will cease to exist. And whenever you take the motion out of that, the thing will cease to exist. That is explained in detail in our Vaisheshik Sutras, how this process happens, where when you take the movement out of something, it merges back into the total. Hmm. So, in this way, dharma represents all these factors. So now, when we look at Ishtika or Ishtaka. So Ishtaka here represents how the bricks are arranged in a Havan Kund. That knowledge is taught. But is that so great a thing? It's not so great a thing. It's arranging the bricks is not. So Ishtaka not, it does not just represent this three Nachiket Agni that he has taught. It does not just represent the bricks. That brick arrangement is there, of course, because when we look at the Yajna Kund, then we see that in a normal old Indian house, there were these three kinds of what we call the three kinds of Havan Kund. So these three kinds of Havan Kunds were constructed at different places. So first one was the Gahar Patya Agni. So that was the circular one. Circular one. So that is where the food is cooked. So that is the first Havan Kund. We do our first Homa there only. When we put in our five ahutis, the five ahutis directed to what we call the Panch Mahayagya. So those five ahutis we give. So all this to Om Brahmanebhya Swaha, Om Devebhya Swaha, and Om Rishibhya Swaha, Om Atithibhya Swaha, and then finally Om Bhutebhya Swaha. So we put the five ahutis, what they represent, our intention to share our earnings or our food with everyone in the world. And they also represent our desire to do all our duties, like Brahmanebhya, our duty to study, so and so on. So this Agni is circular, Gaharpatya. Why circular? Because it is the nature of the world. It is the nature of the whole world. So that Agni is in the center of the house. So wherever you call the kitchen. So and then finally there is the right side of that towards the east of that actual direction. There will be the Avani Agni where we do the normal Homa. So that is square. That is square, right? So there you have to, the bricks have to be arranged in the square size, right? And there is a rule for that also. So I told that there are texts there where all this is given there. So there the rules are given that the area of these should be 576 square anguls. So that all that accuracy is maintained. All the Havan Kund will have the same size, whatever be the shape, right? So in this way, that is square. What does that four square represent? Four Purusharthas. Where we are doing a Homa, so we are ensuring that all the four Purushartha are fulfilled. So what are the four Purusharthas? Char Purushar? Kam, Moksha. Kam, Arth, Moksha. So we'll start with Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Right? All the four Purusharthas have to be fulfilled when we do our duties in the world, when we perform our uh, whatever kartavya is there, our whatever our assigned duty is there, that is assigned by the society to us, right? So this it that is represented by the square. Then finally the one onto the south. South represents the direction of death, but also represent moksha, liberation. Because once we give up our attachment to this body, we achieve moksha or liberation. So what is that shape? That is semicircle. Why semicircle? So that we are breaking the circle of samsara. Right? So that is why the Dakshinagni is always semicircular. So that way, this Agni, this all this was taught by Yamaraja. And then now we come to the Ishtaka. So what is the Ishtaka? Ishtaka is a symbolic word. Ishta also means our desires. Ishta also means our desires. So there Ishtaka is Yamaraja is not just telling it. So these things are revealed by the the rishis or the authors later on who commented on this. So these truths we don't get just by reading the text. So the Ishtaka is what? It represents all our desires. So we have to learn to arrange our desires. We have to learn to arrange our desires. So what is that? Yo Ishtaka. How many desires we should have? How many desires? We have to learn to understand how many desires we should have so that we can create maximum wealth for the society around us. We should have lots of desires. We should create lots of wealth, but we should utilize only what is necessary for us, but give back because we have a duty to give back to the universe. A lot of things we get from this nature. So that is why we have what we call a rena. We have what we call uh, a debt from the universe around us. And to give up this debt, we have to constantly keep doing karma. Action we have to keep doing. We have to constantly generate resources so that we can give back the maximum, right? Even a smallest thing we eat, a roti or whatever food we eat, there are so many people involved in getting that stuff to us so that we can consume it. So we have to give back our rinam, our debt to society. Ishtaka, how many bricks? We have to have lots of desires. Then Yavati, how to arrange them? Which desire to give prominence to when? Right? Something should not be all consuming to us. A desire to produce something is good, but after producing, when to stop? When there is some other duty, like if I am a businessman, if I keep perpetually working, I do not pay attention to my family, that is a crime. That is a crime. So I have to understand to arrange my desires, arrange my how to arrange my desires, which to give prominence to. Yavati Ishtaka. So that is there. And then the third one is the what he said is the yatha ishtaka. What type of desires? We have to be very careful that our these desires should always be dharmic. They can contribute to the betterment of the world. Desires can be of any kind. Desires can be destructive also, no? So whatever is adharmic, that desires have to be spirited away. They have to be separated. They cannot be, in any case, encouraged. That is the position of Shastra. So, all of these things that are taught by Yamaraja to this young lad Nachiketa, he has learned, he has absorbed, and in fact, he repeated all the knowledge, right? It is a long teaching here. Of course, in the Upanishad, it is shortened down. So I told you this part comes from the Brahmana Bhaga. So from the Brahmana, which contains this Upanishad, or we can say the karma part of this Upanishad, there all this detail is given in very long verses, so many detailed verses. It is given this knowledge. So here only we just see in short that Yamaraja or Dharmaraja gave this knowledge of the three Nachiketa Agni, but there it is treated in long detail. So in the Brahmanas, all this is given. So in this way, this knowledge that he has given, now he will give the what we call the benefits of this knowledge. So here Yamaraja says to Nachiketas that now this Agni that I have given to you, Trinachiketrayametam viditva yaemam vidvan chinute nachiketam samrityupashan puratah pranodhya shokatigo modate svargaloke. So Trinachiketah trayam etad viditva ya evam vidvan chinute nachiketam सह मृत्यु पाषाण पुरतः प्रणोद्य शोक अतिगो मोदते स्वर्गलोके. So this three Nachiket Agni, three Nachiket Trayam Etad Viditva, whoever has known this threefold fire and its secrets. So Ya Evam Vidvan Chinute Nachiketam, whatever intelligent person, Vidvan, Ya Evam Vidvan, Chinute selects or wants to utilize this Nachiket Agni, Ya Evam Vidvan Chinute Nachiketam, Samrityu Pashan Puratah Pranayodhya. He will cut the cords of death. So whenever he dies, he will go to heaven. Shokati go modate swargaloke. So he will rejoice in heaven, having renounced sorrow. So not just go to heaven, but also give up all sorrows. Right? So heaven is said to be the symbolic place where all kinds of sorrows are vanished forever. It is whenever we have done a lot of good deeds, then we are able to get into heaven. If we have done more bad deeds, we will go into the lower lokas, naraka. So when we go into swarga, there what happens is there. Of course, not forever, but the shackles of death, mrityu pashan, the shackles of death, they have been broken because there we are given a body which does not die, Only thing is that when we have finished our, there is no death, but whenever we have finished all our punya, uh, so Sanjay ji is asking, how does one decide what is dharmic for any specific context? Does sorrow include avidya, maya, and ahamkara? So of course you are asking good advanced questions. We will cover this later on also. But just for short, dharmic is what? Dharmic is something that benefits the maximum number of people, does not give sorrow to anyone, and is able to maintain the order of the universe, which is the most important part. Whatever destroys the order of universe is considered adharmic, right? So that is how we decide something is. And then further, what is there? Sometimes human minds are not considered capable enough of understanding dharma or adharma, or deciding that. So for that we have the different dharma shastras. So those dharma shastras are different for different times, different ages. So that is why when we go into those shastras, or even if we don't go, we go to the people who are well versed in those shastras, the pandits and the brahmins, or whatever knowledgeable people are there. There are learned people in the villages. They will guide you. They will always tell you this is dharmic or not. They will guide you, right? So they are always available in our society. So or we can always study the text and we can find out. But the general guideline, something that does not disturb the alignment of nature, that helps people, that makes people happy and smiling. So now this sorrow includes avidya, maya, and ahankara too. So avidya, maya, and ahankara, of course, they are the epitome of sorrow, huh? But they are not known to most people. Most people don't even know there is a thing called avidya or maya or ahankar. It is only the people who are studying shastras, they come to know these terms, that what is this world? This is maya swarup. This is of temporary nature. So that person can understood this is also a source of sorrow. I may think of this world as a source of enjoyment, but when I understand its nature as being transient, as being changing, as being something that will go away, then of course it is something that I should not hold on to. So he has to give up. So that it becomes a source of sorrow, and he has to reach the level of knowledge, reach Shastra Jnanam, where he can finally strive for moksha. And similarly for avidya, avidya is similar synonym for maya, you can say. And ahankara also. Ahankara is something when you do not know your true nature, you associate with yourself with the entity you are functioning through. So for the human, it is the um, human body, right? So all of these can bring us sorrow. So all these sorrows that are there, they can pull us down, bring us down, make us feel constricted, right? Constricted. What is dukkha? Dukkha is constriction of self, and sukha is expansion of self. Whenever someone contradicts you, hurts you, so he is in fact restricting you. So that becomes dukkha. Or whenever someone praises you, he is expanding you. He's giving you more range to express yourself. Like someone puts you in a cell, you are constricted, so you are sorrowful. So just funnily, a few days back we were talking, my parents here, they use a mosquito net. And so the rest of the kids in the family, they don't want to, they say they feel restricted, they feel constricted, banda banda lagta hai hame. So that is the reason. We all are know internally that our nature is freedom, our nature is moksha, and that is hinted to us by nature in many ways, that whenever we are constricted, we want to become free. Uh, so that indication is always there, but only through shastra we learn that we have to strive for that and reach for that. So three nachiketa, coming back to the text, three nachiketa trayam etam viditva. So whoever has known this three nachiketa agnihi, then this person is able to cut the cords of death. That is, he is able to cut the fear that all the different things of life bring to him. So here, this mrityu pash, giving cutting those cords, is not the one of moksha, but it is the one where all the fears that come to us in this earth, they are given up, because I am doing something good. for the universe, right? So I am not doing anything to hurt other people. So that brings with itself a higher pleasure, which is called here Swargaloka. Swargaloka is what? Absence of any kind of uh, sorrow, any kind of ill thought within myself that मैंने किसी का बुरा किया, so then I will keep suffering. If whenever, but whenever I have been good to everyone, then I am in Swargaloka. So Modate Swargaloka. And Shok Ati, the highest, the worst of sorrows, we are able to give up if we are able to maintain our transactions in the world in a most positive way. जितना हम सबके साथ अच्छा रिलेशन बना के रखेंगे, whatever good forces we hold on to, they will ensure that our journey into the other worlds will be smooth, right? So in this way, the worldly sorrows, shokatiko, they will not bother us. So it is said that in one Sanskrit verse that kashtam vyakarana kashtatara samagana jaraya kashtataram. So in the world, there are so many things that we don't realize. So like vyakarana, grammar is considered a very tough, not easy for people to learn. Then kashtatara samagana, chanting the Vedic verses is even tougher. That requires a lot of practice. And then Jaraya Kashtataram, old age is the toughest of them all. So, and then finally death. Death is the what we call the eternal truth. So in Gita also the second chapter 27th verse. Jatasya hi dhruva mrityu. So mrityu or death is considered the eternal truth. It is something that is going to come to everyone, irrespective of whatever stage of life they are through. So somewhere or the other, if someone might be living longer, someone shorter, but ultimately this death is going to come to us. So all of the people who are able to accept this truth are then able to live their life with the knowledge that whatever they can do best in their life, they should do and not worry about death. Death is simply a transition from this body to another. And when you move on to that, then only we can experience the next janma. So we should not worry about that. Enjoy or do best in your life in this janma. That is mrityu pashan purataha. So uh, all the people of old Purataha who came before us, they also who did punya karmas, they were able to go to uh, Swargloka. So in this way, Yamaraja has indicated to Nachiketa that this knowledge I have given to you. So now we are going to enter more of the deepest part of the text. Uh, so now he is saying, okay, now I have given you this much and this knowledge. Your second one is complete. So now we just एष ते अग्निनचिकेत स्वर्गयः यं वृणीथा द्वितीयेन वरेण एतमग्निं तवेव प्रवक्ष्यन्ति जनासः तृतीयं वरं नचिकेतो वृणीष्वः सो एषः ते अग्निः नचिकेतः स्वर्गयः यं वृणीतः द्वितीयेन वरेण एतम अग्निं तव एव प्रवक्ष्यन्ति जनासः तृतीयम वरम नचिकेतः वृणीष्व. So Esha te Agni Nachiketa Swargaya. This Agni, this ritual fire, this Yagya fire Agni that has been taught to you, Hey Nachiketa, this Agni that leads to heaven, Swargaya ho, Esha te Agni Nachiketa Swargaya ho, that leads to heaven, it has been taught to you. So Yam Vrinitha Dvitiyen Varina. So whatever was asked by you, Yam Vrinitha, whatever was asked by you or whatever was desired by you, in what? Dvitiye Varena, in your second boon that you asked for. So Etam Agnim Tava Eva Pravakshanti Janasaha. So this Agni will now be known by only your name. This Agni will be known by your name, as he said in the previous verse also. एतम अग्निम तवेव प्रवेक्षन्ति जनास जना Janasaha, Janaha is represents people. So Janasaha in Vedic parlance means the same word Janasaha. So it represents known to the people who will be following you or who will come after you. They will call this Agni by your name. So Tritiyam Varam Nachiketaha Vrinishva. So now that he has given all this knowledge so far, so now Yamaraja is saying that now you are ready to take on the next vara. You have taken your two. Correct. Okay, so Sanjay ji has asked, people may contradict the truth to counter another person's falsehood. I will discuss this later on. Let's continue with the text. I will address these in the end. So Esha te Agni Nachiketa Swargaya Vrinitha Dvitiyen Vare. So this Agni that has been taught by Yamadharmaraja to this young kid has now been now his second boon has been completed. So with the completion of this second boon, he is now able to say that now you are ready for the third boon. So now Yamaraja is also curious. This child has really almost asked for whatever main things one can desire for in life. Huh? So attainment of all worldly benefits, all that he has attained. So what is left for him to ask for something special? It has to be. So this is he's also now waiting for it. So he himself asks that this third varam, the third boon that I've given to you, you may now please ask. So this third one that he's going to ask is the main crux of this whole text. It will be answered in the whole of the rest of the text, right? Of course, it will involve some other parts, where some other parts where the preparatory part to the giving of the knowledge is there, but that all that is involves the final part of the knowledge, the giving of the knowledge of the Atma or the self, right? So he says, Nachiketa asks his third varam, third boon. येयं प्रेते विचिकित्सा मनुष्ये अस्तीत्य एकेनायम् अस्तीति चैकम् एतद्विद्यामनुशिष्टस्त्वयाहम् वराणामेष वरस्तृतीयः. So य इयं प्रेते विचिकित्सा मनुष्य. This knowledge, this knowledge about the soul, the Atma, or here Pret represents what? Yeah, Iyam Prete, the uh, state without the body, right? The state without the body. So he says, Ya iyam prete, about that state without the body, vichikitsa manushya. People have a curiosity or a doubt. Now, there is a doubt about a person who is dead among people. Astitya eke na ayam asti iti chaike. So they say, is he totally gone now? Is he finished now? Is his existence gone? So there are some who say asti iti eke. There are some who say he exists even after death. In what form we will discover. So there are some who say exists even after death, and some who say he doesn't. So na ayam asti iti chayake. Some will say that death is the end of all existence. After death there will be nothing more. So etad vidyam anushishta tvaya aham. So this knowledge I am asking from you. Varanam Esha Varatritiya. So this third varam, this third boon that is available for me, that you have promised me, I am asking you, let me know that what happens to a person after his death. Is there a soul or is there a not? That is his basic question. आत्मा है या नहीं है? और आत्मा है तो उसका स्वरूप क्या है? Whether there is a soul, and if there is a soul, then what is its nature? That is his curiosity, right? So this knowledge he is asking from who? Yamadharmaraja. Why? Because he is the person most qualified to give this knowledge. So he says, do you really have a job, or you just enjoy your time up there? Because what is your job? Your job is to take the souls out of the people and take them to the other world. So is it actually true, or is it just a myth? You are the best person to clear up this for me. And there is no one else who can do this, give this knowledge. Right? So now This knowledge he has asked from Dharmaraja, he is bound to give it, but he is now hesitating. Not hesitating in the sense that he doesn't want to give, but he is hesitating in the sense that he has to be sure that this knowledge is being given to a worthy person. Huh? So he has already found Nachiketa to be a very intelligent, very decent child. So now he just wants to check what he is going to say. So now whether this existence is there or not, or basically what is the nature of the soul, this is what he has asked in this uh, question, right? So, so in this we move on to the 21st verse. So, देवे यत्रापि विचिकित्सं पुरा न हि सुविज्ञेमणु धर्मः अन्यं वरं नचिकेतो वृणीष्वः मा उप्रोत्सि अतिमा सृजेनम् तो देवे अत्र अपि विचिकित्सितं पुरा न हि सुविज्ञेयम् अनु एष धर्मः अन्यं वरं नचिकेतः वृणीष्वः मा उपरोत्सि अतिमा सृजेनम्. So, Deve Atrapi, even the Devtas, even the divine forces, Vichikitsampura, they even have their doubts from ancient times. What is the ancient times? From the cosmic yugas. From the beginning of time, there are Devtas who have tried to get this knowledge. So, if you read or if you have read somewhere Ken Upanishad, so there it is shown that the Devtas themselves try to get this knowledge from Brahman, and they are not able to grasp it easily. So Agni Devta fails. Finally, it is Indra Devta who goes to get this knowledge. So in this way, there have been even the highest divine forces, the Devtas, they struggle to grasp this knowledge. They even struggle to grasp this knowledge, Vichikitsampura. So they have their doubts. So they are not able to assimilate this knowledge. Nahi suvigyam anu esha dharma. So this knowledge is suvigyam. It is not nahi suvigyam. It is not easily accessible or easily comprehensible. It is not easy to comprehend. Right? This is very subtle. Anu esha dharma. Anu. It is very subtle. Esha dharma. This knowledge. So here you see dharma is being used in what sense? In the sense of knowledge, or in the sense of the nature of the soul. So dharma represents what? Dharayati iti dharma, as we said, discussed earlier. So what holds together? So this consciousness or this atma also holds everything together. You take the atma out of the body, it will collapse. It will go back to the five elements, right? It will merge back into the five elements. The body is useless once the soul has left. So this will come later. But here dharma represents the nature of this atma. And that nature is, he says, very difficult to comprehend. So what does he say? Anyam varam nachiketa vrinishva. Please try and ask something different. Why can't you ask something different? Why can't you be all the common people who come and ask for their desires and we grant them, the devtas grant them? So Anyam Varam Nachiketa Vrinisho. Please ask something else. Why not you ask something else? I will give you choices, he will say in the next few mantras. So Ma Uprotsi Ati Masrijanam. So please give up this question. Please don't force me. Masrijanam. Don't force me. Hmm? So now what he is doing here is he is trying to test whether this child is capable enough to live up to the challenge of accepting this knowledge, right? So this knowledge, if it is to be understood, it requires a lot of willpower, a lot of desire for that. So we just go back to Tattva Bodha. Some of you have already have heard it multiple times, some maybe not so many times. So if those for those who have read it, you would remember that whenever we go into the spiritual pursuit, the pursuit of Atma Jnanam or the knowledge, we are tested whether we are a adhikari, right? Adhikari or not. So what is that adhikari? The one who is fit to receive the knowledge. So we were doing Tattva Bodha earlier. Let me see if it's open. It's not. Okay, I'll just tell you, you can, I don't need to bring it up on screen. So maybe you can remember from what we did earlier, or I will just repeat it for you all. So, adhikari is what? Adhikari is the person who is fit to receive the knowledge. So there are, we say, sadhan chatushtaya sampan adhikari nam. That is called, that the person who is fit to receive the knowledge, he should have the four kinds of wealth. Sadhan chatushtaya. Four kinds of wealth. What is the four kinds of wealth? That is given in the four kinds of qualities or we should have so that we can receive this knowledge. So what are those four? Vivek, Vairagya, Mumukshutvam, and finally, sadhan, shat sampatti. So, what is Vivek? Vivek is the capability to discriminate between the real and unreal. Right? Most of the times we run after the things in life, we find that they are all changing when we examine their nature. That is, that examination is called Viveka. To examine the nature of a substance, see if it is real or unreal, and then we will find that everything in the world is uh, changing or unreal. Nothing in this world is real. So ultimately, we come to the point where we learn that the eternal reality or Brahman is the only one that is real. So that comes much later. But initially, we do this Viveka Vivichyati, to separate the truth from the falsehood, to separate the right from the wrong. So in this way, the how to separate right from wrong, once we learn this process, then we the first method that is which we call the satya mithya vivek, whatever is real and whatever is unreal. So whenever we see the objects of the world, we will find they are unreal. So why, well, if they are unreal, then what is the next corollary? We don't need to hold on to them. हमें उनके पीछे भागने की जरूरत नहीं है. So with that comes what we call the feeling of vairagya. We enjoy the objects of the world in the best way possible, but we don't get attached to them. We don't get attached. We don't have a feeling of raga or dvesha, neither hatred towards the objects of the world, nor a feeling of attachment or desire. So when this feeling is not there, we are able to enjoy without any kind of restriction and without us becoming slaves to our desires, without us becoming slaves to our desires. So once we do that, we are able to uh, conquer our the control that the objects have over us. That is basically vairagya. To give up the control that objects have over us. So that is the second part. Then the third, we can take up first mumukshutvam, which is actually considered the most, that is a fierce desire for liberation. Fierce desire for liberation. So that is called the mumukshutvam. So this mumukshutvam ensures that we really want that knowledge and that knowledge only. Once we have examined the world, we have understood the joys and sorrows of the world, we find that nothing can give us everlasting peace. Then we start searching for that thing which can give us everlasting peace or which can give us everlasting joy. And that search is what is called mumukshutvam, the desire for liberation. Moktum ichha iti mumukshutvam. So that desire, that fierce desire for liberation is what is the third quality. And then finally, sadhan chatushtaya sampatti. We should be disciplined in all forms. So shama, dama, uprati, titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhanam, the sixfold qualities. So all these represent the states by which we are able to train and discipline ourselves. So Shama, the control of the mind. Our mind should not wander here and there. We should be able to focus it, be able to train it to absorb the knowledge. Without a focused mind, nothing is going to happen. We are going to a class and sitting there and thinking about the beautiful bike that we have recently bought and we want to ride it, then whatever the teacher is saying, bug, 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 it will not enter our mind. It will go over the head, right? So that mind should be focused. Then Dhamma, our sense organs should be focused inwards. So some cake is being made somewhere nearby. The smell is so enticing. My thought is on that taste of the cake only, right? So in this way, when my sense organs are not trained, then also I am unable to absorb the knowledge. Then uparati, how to rise above the hold of the objects. Uparati, whatever is there around us, we should be able to control ourselves, right? Uparati. Then titiksha, how to I'm not going into too much details. We did this in Tattva Bodha also. Anyone wants, they can also watch those lectures. We finished those 20 classes on Tattva Bodha. I can share the link. So you can watch we discussed all this in detail. So Uparati, Titiksha, how to deal with the ups and downs of life. So there can be physical ups and downs like heat and cold and so on. There can be mental ups and downs like joy and sorrow and so on. So all those represent titiksha. How to build up our endurance power, how to build up our tapas shakti, our power of facing the heat, our power to survive in the toughest of situations. Then only can any kind of knowledge be stable within us. Otherwise, what will happen? We set a goal. I want to climb this mountain. After going 200 meters, I say, I'm so tired or I'm so hungry. And then I go stop there and go back and do something else, and the target is lost. Target is lost. So in this way, when we are focused only, then only we can achieve our goals. So all this is required for a trained mind so that it can assimilate this knowledge. So this, and then finally, Shraddha, faith in the Guru. So a lot of people, they already know everything. So they actually should not be attending any kind of class or attend. Because when you already know everything, you are in a way only trying to test the teacher and see that if he's right or wrong, or whether his knowledge is correct or not. So if that thing happens, then you will spend more time in testing the teacher and less time in actually learning. Whatever is being said, focus on that, learn that, look for more avenues on that. If there is something that is not clear, ask more, ask any kind of questions. So once that is done, you will be able to move very smoothly in this pursuit of knowledge, right? So Shraddha is considered one of the most important things in all of these qualifications. Without Shraddha, you cannot move forward an inch. If for me physics is nonsense, then I will never excel at physics. So I have to have Shraddha in the subject and in the teacher. So what is Shraddha? Shastra, Guru Vedanta Vakya, Shraddha, Guru Vega Vishwas iti Shraddha. So that represents I should have belief in what the Shastra is saying. I should have belief in the way the teacher is teaching to me, because teacher is actually nothing. Teacher is just a conduit. He is a medium through which the Shastra is being said. So Shastra is the main thing. So if I have faith in the Shastra, then the Shastra will always convey to me. For a lot of people, they will say they will find historic events in the Vedas. Veda is not history, no history. Veda is not Shruti. It does not. It is not Purana. It is not Itihasa. So they will find and they will analyze them according to time scales. What happened when Vedic Kal was that time? They will never. The truth of the Vedas will never reveal to these people. They will keep on doing their time calculations only. So once you have Shraddha in the subject, once you understand what the teachers are saying, what our parampara is saying, what our systems have evolved over the ages, then only you will be able to absorb that knowledge. If you go with preconceived notions, no, nothing is going to work for you, right? So in this way, all of these are necessary qualifications, we say, for entering into any shastric study or any kind of study, not just shastric study, even any worldly study also. You have to have a lot of these qualities, if not all. But for shastric study, you need to have all of these. So once these qualities are there within you, so when we look at the next few verses, we will understand how each of these qualities is being tested by Yamaraja. It will come up in the verses. How each way of discouraging Nachiketas from asking about this knowledge indicates how much he is fit to receive the knowledge. Right. So we will wind up for now. I'll keep the questions for the end. So and then we'll continue. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।